My husband goes on annual vacations with his family. I'm on okay terms with them, but since we've only been married for a short time and I don't see his family much, we still have that barrier that keeps us from being completely comfortable around each other. His family arranged for the vacation last week. I out of curiosity asked if I could come. My husband felt hesitant, but I told him it'd be a great opportunity to get to know his family better. He agreed to take me, and his family were surprised to see me but still welcomed me. On the third day of the vacation, his dad, mom, brothers and spouses were all sitting at a table outside talking while I was preparing a fruit salad. As I was making my way back, I overheard my mill say, "Did she really had nowhere else to spend the weekend?" At first I had no idea who she was talking about, so I kept on walking, but stopped once I overheard my husband say, no. And I didn't want to bring her with me, but what was I supposed to do? You know how pushy she can get. I instantly figured it was about me. I felt so shaken up to the point where I almost dropped the salad. This whole time I was there, I cleaned, cooked, looked after the kids, and this is how they think of me? An inconvenience to them? I quietly booked a ticket and went home on the first plane. He called and texted, but I didn't respond anything other than let him know I was home. He got back and went off on me, saying what I did was disrespectful and juvenile. I told him I overheard the conversation he had with his mom, but he said that I was wrong for eavesdropping and that his family will warm up to me on their terms, so I should stop pushing to be around that when they don't feel comfortable with it. Basically saying it was my fault for coming along in the first place. He said that going home made him and his family disappointed and gave them a really bad impression about me. I think that I might have messed this up and somewhat ruined it for them as well. Not the idiot. This is toxic. He trash talked you to his family, who were being nasty about you, tried to gaslight you, and insisted you continue putting up with their treatment and let them have their own way. He's your husband and his family are still treating you like this. You deserve better than these people. You deserve better than him. How much more of this could you possibly take? Not the idiot. This man is supposed to be your husband, and he openly told his family that he wished you weren't there. Girl, why are you with him? Why are you putting up with someone who clearly doesn't value you as his wife or even a person? He could have been supportive of your efforts, but he chose to side with his family and just alienate you despite your help and attempts at getting along with family. Honestly, from this little amount of information, he sounds like an unsupportive and gaslighting idiot. Now that you're married, it doesn't matter how short a time, family vacations include you, full stop. You should be expected to go with your husband. Your in-laws are idiots for not understanding that, and your husband is an idiot for agreeing with them instead of backing you. We're married, mother. If OP isn't invited, then I'm not coming either. You might have been an idiot had you deliberately listened in on a private conversation, but you just happened to overhear their conversation. That's not eavesdropping. So, double idiot points to your husband for deflecting. I, 27, have had my mother, 48, living in my house since September 2020. My wife, 27, gave birth 2 months ago to my son. Ever since my wife and I got married, my mother would make snide remarks at my wife. I was too much of a coward to call it out at first, but I believed, for a while, that it had officially stopped, besides the unnecessary comment here and there. ETA, I stand up for my wife all the time. It's just that for the first year and a half of our relationship, I'd cower away. I was afraid to lose my family, but the only family I needed was my wife. My wife and I had very busy schedules, so even though we lived together and were married, we rarely saw each other. She loved her job, but I made the selfish decision to ask her to leave it. She was hesitant but agreed to it. She still makes money from her small business, but she obviously is now a stay-at-home. ETA, mutually agreed. She is very happy SAH. My mother ended up losing her home a couple months back. I live the closest and have the biggest home, 10-bedroom, so she came to us. My mother keeps making comments like, she needs a job. She's going to drain you of money. My wife would also come up to me and tell me to not say anything to my mother, that my mother needs somewhere to stay, and that she, my wife, can handle it. I've been in online conferences for the last 2 weeks, so I haven't had much time to spend with my son. For the past 3 days, I haven't had any calls or work to do so. I've been telling my wife to stay in bed and rest so I can look after our son. Yesterday, my wife was asleep in bed when my mother started screaming through our bedroom door, banging on it, calling my wife every name under the sun. When I ran into the corridor, she was screaming like a lunatic. My dogs, Blue Bay Shepherd and Siberian Husky, obviously got very defensive and backed her into a corner. I got into my bedroom and my wife was in the corner of the room crying with her head down. She was terrified. I ran to my mother and said that I'm going to kick her old butt to the curb. She wailed that I couldn't do that, but I screamed at her and told her to remember whose house she was in. She started to cry and I told her to pack up and get out by tomorrow. She started screaming, saying she had nowhere to go. I said that she could stay, but if she even looked to wife's direction, I'd kick her onto the street. Now my siblings are saying I'm the idiot, and that I was too aggressive. I say that's total BS, because how else was I supposed to react to seeing my wife terrified and scared in a corner? I told them to take her, but they say they don't want her stressing them out. The only reason I think I might be the idiot is because she seemed scared when I yelled at her. That, and because my wife is saying that she doesn't want my family to be mad at her, but I don't care. Now, my mother is telling everyone my wife ganged up on her. The only reason I haven't dragged her out yet is because my wife says not to. Am I the idiot? Update: she went for a walk, so I grabbed her stuff, threw it in a suitcase and put it outside. My wife is currently cuddling with our son in bed. Told my brother that if he doesn't get her, she'll be spending the night outside of our padlock secured gate. My wife has no idea. Not the idiot. She's projecting. You can bear with it all you want, it's up to you. But when anybody, be it mother, dad, the freaking pope, badmouths your wife, your spine needs to shine. Period. Letting her disrespect your wife only shows that you're okay with it and don't respect your wife either. Your wife is a legend to put up with that for as long as she did, and you're too blind to even see it. Tell the idiot siblings that you'll relay the message to mother that they are happy to take her in. Let them deal with her attitude instead. Not the idiot. Your mother was scared because she almost saw consequences to her actions. Your siblings admit they don't want your mother either, so it's less that you are the idiot and more they are worried they will get stuck with her. Honestly, you need to get your mother out of your home. If she is comfortable screaming at your wife, there's no way she is now suddenly not going to be a problem. Your wife deserves to be safe in her home, and there's no way your mother is not going to continue to be mean to her. She just will do it in different ways. You will be an idiot if you don't have your mother move out. Give her 2 weeks, and make sure you are around during that time, and get her out of there. Not the idiot. Having read your update, please make it abundantly clear that this decision is 100% on you and that your wife wasn't even aware of the decision. They will likely blame her anyway, but maybe if you're very assertive about it, and stay firm in your decision, they will believe it. I would also consider giving your wife a mental break from the entire family. As soon as possible, just stop even talking about them, not even in passing. Just let her focus on you and the baby and help her restore a safe, happy, peaceful home for you all. I wish you the best of luck handling that pill of a family you've got. I hope you learn to enjoy standing up to them. I, 27, lost my mom on my first day of school. My dad remarried 3 years later to Jane. Jane could never have children of her own, and she, as well as my dad, thought that her marrying a man with a child so young would mean she would eventually become a mom. I admit that I have not allowed that to happen. Even at a young age, I did not want another mom, and so I put a wall between me and Jane because I never felt like there was a middle ground to make us happy. We have been through therapy, a bonding camp, which is terrible by the way, and I would never recommend them, and a lot of serious conversations between the three of us. When I was 17, her efforts kind of ended because I invited my aunt, mom's sister, shopping for prom, and she was upset that it wasn't just for us. I got married 2 years ago. My fiancé's parents and my dad and stepmother were all giving speeches. Fiancé and I gave ours first. Fiancé talked about our future together and how he wished his brother had been there. He lost his brother 6 years ago. And then I talked about our future together and the sadness of hitting the milestone without my mom, but how much she would have loved my fiancé and would have been so proud to welcome him to the family. During my stepmother's speech, she went into a very heartfelt message about being a mom to me, etc. She talked about the joy I brought to her life and the fact she was proud to call me her daughter. It seems that it stuck out to everyone that I called her Jane during my speech when touching on her and my dad, and that I wasn't as loving toward her and mine that I was to my parents. Then back in October, when my wedding video was finally put up by the photography company, She told me I had humiliated her on my wedding day, and how it was a slap in the face for the video to be online for all the world to see. She told me that when I invited her to give a speech along with the other parents that I had finally embraced her in a way I hadn't before, and to sit through my speech where I didn't give her as much love as my dead mom, when she had written her so lovingly it made her want to run away and cry. I told her I was sorry to have made her feel that way. But she continued to bring it up. My dad then got involved and he told me to fix things so I could always make a post to her next Mother's Day, giving her the love she deserves for everyone to see. It turned into a fight then at Christmas when my mother-in-law posted what a beautiful speech it was and how she knew my mom would have been so proud of me. After that post was made, Jane told me I needed to apologize and to make amends for embarrassing her like that. I might normally do it just to save a fight, but I don't know where she thought we had gotten closer. I included her to be polite and respectful, and I have tried to be that more as I have gotten older. But I still don't feel anywhere close to the same as she does about me or how she wants me to feel about her. Am I the idiot? No idiots here. I actually feel badly for her. Sounds like she really tried, wanted to be a good stepmom to you. It must have been very hard to live day in and day out with a step kid who put up walls and never accepted or really liked her. And sounds like she was so excited when she thought asking her to give a speech was a sign of your acceptance of her, which is actually kind of sad in itself. And she's just very hurt and has unleashed like 2 decades of feeling hurt. That said, you were a traumatized little girl, so I don't blame you. And your speeches were fine. I'd say you are the idiot. It sounds like your stepmother has constantly tried to be the best mom she can and really tries as a parent, and you've never once given her a chance your entire life. I get that losing a parent young is difficult, and that doesn't excuse you for constantly treating your stepmom like crap. If she was the stereotype evil step-parent, I'd be on your side and say go scorched earth on her. But she keeps trying and you don't. Trying is all we can do in this world, and she has and you haven't. I don't think you're a bad person. I think you're someone who never fully processed their grief and still deeply hurts and is taking something out on your stepmother that neither of you deserve. Not the idiot. I hate step-parents that think they can just replace kids' actual parents regardless of what the child wants. I'm sorry for your loss. OP, your dad is the idiot for letting another woman try to replace your mom. I understand it's bad not to be able to have children, but that doesn't give your stepmom the right to waltz in and try and make you play perfect family and forget your mom. She's also a major idiot for complaining about you missing your dead mom at your wedding. I honestly don't know where to begin with this. A little backstory. My husband suffers from bipolar, ADHD, and severe anger issues. He has his moods in these cycles. It's been 6 years of emotional and verbal abuse. We tried therapy for 2 years and several different medications, but it always ends up with him giving up and having episode after episode. I'm trying my hardest to do everything to please him, but all I do is make him angry. Everything I do or say anger him. I'm not allowed to have a say in anything. I am the breadwinner, he pays 45% of bills based off income, and I do 100% of child and house responsibilities. His leftover money goes all to him and his hobbies, while I use mine to pay for kid/baby supplies and groceries and pay extra on the mortgage. He works 40-hour weeks while I work 50+. His job is blue collar while mine is not. He comes home and spends roughly 15 minutes with our daughter and then goes does his own thing while I cook and do night routine with her. Anyways, on to the scenario. This past weekend, I've been noticing his moods are starting to go down, which means it's going to be a bad cycle. Well, we got into an argument where he was once again verbally and emotionally abusive. He left once again and blocked me on everything. I'm 38 weeks pregnant and 5 centimeters dilated, and it's a middle of a snowstorm, and he left me alone. This is a normal thing for him to do. Therapists told me it's his way of getting control, and he knows he can emotionally abuse me and gets a high off it because he knows he isn't performing to what is expected. Well, I was on the phone with my best friend and she typed out, your husband left you home alone with a 3-year-old at 38 weeks pregnant and 5 centimeters dilated, and your mucus plug fell out already. If you can't see what an abusive person he is, I don't know what to do anymore. I read that sentence about 100 times. Cried a lot. And called another close friend of mine and told him I'm officially going to leave and not allow husband into the room when I deliver. He told me that I'm in a hole if I do that, especially since it's his child, First son, and I shouldn't take that away from him, and told me to keep trying to work hard because mental illnesses are hard to deal with and I'm just making it worse for him. My other friend from the first convo told me I'm not in a hole and husband can go F himself and step up and stop using his mental illnesses to abuse women. I'm conflicted and feel like I would be the a-hole to not let husband see his first son being born, but at the same time I'm so tired of the abuse that I just can't do it anymore. For your safety and your children's safety, please get out if you can. Ask the police to help if you need help getting your things. I used to work with kids who came from pretty rough settings, and if you don't leave now or soon, things will not get better. Your kids will grow up around the abuse, and that is not healthy. And you being abused constantly is not healthy. You can't fix him. Get the hell out as soon as possible. Not the idiot. Husband is an idiot. Second friend is definitely an idiot too, sorry to say. Your husband doesn't give a crap about the kid that's already around, so why does he deserve to see the second one born? I think you knew in your heart that you were in the clear, but I'm glad we can help validate you. I hope your friend can help you get out of this mess. Not the idiot. Your male best friend gave you absolutely terrible advice. Would he keep that same energy if he was physically beating you? Probably not, so why is it okay to emotionally mentally abuse you, and leave you stranded pregnant in a snowstorm? Please leave. Things are going to get worse if they don't. Your therapist hit it on the head. He likes knowing that he doesn't have to be nice to you for you to love him, and it's just going to be this cycle until it eventually gets more violent.